Welcome to the Master Dealmakers Secrets Podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 49. Today, we're going to be talking about the three biggest reasons why people give up when implementing new ideas. But first, if you've got leads in your pipeline and you want to convert more of those, I've got a great resource for you. Head over to johnblakeaudio.com and get your free audio training where I show you exactly how to double your sales with the existing lead flow that you already have right now. This is the same strategy that I start every single client I work with on in my high-ticket 12-month program. And the reason we do that is because I want to get them a really quick result in the fastest time possible, and that's what you can expect when you implement this strategy. What you're going to get over at johnblakeaudio.com is my audio training, which goes for about 15 minutes. It's really simple, it's to the point, no fluff. And you'll also get a PDF guide that actually has all of the templates. So exactly what to write, exactly what to say when you leave someone a voicemail message, and exactly when to email and when to call. So super valuable. You'll get a stack out of it. Head over to johnblakeaudio.com. Righto. So the three biggest reasons why people give up when implementing new ideas. Now, implementing new ideas is such an interesting and exciting time. So it can really hold within it the promise of an exciting new future or another potential failure. And so much of it really does have to do with your mindset around this. And, you know, in addition to that, implementing something new that actually works can totally change the game. You know, like it really, you know, you can count some of the biggest shifts in people's businesses on one hand in some cases. You know, small hinges really can swing big doors. You know, I mean, I've been in business now for 30 years and I've experienced my fair share of both. In fact, would easily have experienced more failures than successes. But, you know, when you kick a goal, you know, when you hit one out of the park, it's pretty awesome, especially in a business like, well, most businesses, you can keep doing the thing that works. So why do people give up? Okay, well, in my experience, it comes down to these three core reasons. The first one is not understanding statistical significance. We'll go into that one in a minute. The second one is a 180-degree wholesale change from what they're already doing. And the third one is too long a delay without results. So my goal for you in listening to this would be to help you better prepare and execute new ideas in your business, knowing what to expect and, you know, hopefully hanging in there long enough to get you a better chance of kicking a big goal and getting a great result. So the first one is not understanding statistical significance. So years ago, I heard this saying, and it's always stayed with me, is that if you do something often enough, a pattern will appear. So, you know, I talk a lot about this when it comes to my clients implementing a direct strategy, but it certainly applies across the board in sales. So essentially what statistical significance is it's making sure that you're actually doing enough reps, I guess, so to speak, on a large enough scale to actually judge overall result trends. So, for example, if you're sending out a direct to corporate pack, I know that as opposed to cold calling, where, you know, an average cold call result, if you make 100 calls, you probably get 1 or 2 appointments. For every 10 packs you send out, you'll probably end up speaking to 5 or 6 people, and you'll probably end up getting appointments with 1 to 2 people. But if you send your first 10 packs out, are you going to get those results straight away? No. I mean, you might, and I've had that happen for sure with some people, but it's not likely to happen in the first 10 packs. And the reason why is that for your results to be statistically significant, you will really need to have sent out between 50 and 100 packs, you know, to really get a good pattern on what's going on. And then obviously there's other factors in there as well around your message and around the target and around the industry and the amount of pain that industry's been in and how suited your message is to that particular target. So, you know, there's a few moving parts in this, but, you know, you really won't have a pattern on that until you've done, say, between 50 and 100 different direct mail packages. So in the planning and the implementation of any new challenge, you need to make sure you set specific and realistic timeframes and expectations around when you can expect a result. So make sure you take into consideration things like statistical significance as well as user error, and leave an adequate window of time to expect results. So the second one is a 180-degree wholesale change. So another way of referring to this is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So a few years ago, I made this mistake and it actually cost me big time. So essentially, I ended up operating my business under a totally different, totally new business model, and my results were just, like it literally brought my business to its knees. I'm lucky that, a bad year in business is compared to most businesses, a bad year in business for me is actually not a tragedy or a massive disaster. But I ended up taking a huge hit in revenue that year. And, I learned to stack from it, but it really set me back, 6 to 12 months on my journey, So I changed things too quickly. I needed to really start with a small sample of what I wanted to do and then build and scale on that, rather than just essentially leaving my old kind of model for this new model, which was unproven, and I just didn't have the systems in place to really, give it the momentum that it really needed. So, wholesale change, never, in my experience at least, a good call. You need to, test the waters first, and then you can start to put more focus and energy on the new idea or the new model once you've got some runs on the board. The third one is too long a delay without results. So, when do we move on? It's such an important question. At what point do you cut your losses and simply put it down to experience? Well, the answer is going to vary from project to project. You need an evaluation of what's happened. And Seth, what's his name? Seth Godin wrote a song about this. I think it's called The Big Dip. And he talks about, when you should abandon a project. And it's worth a read. It's a good one. It's a pretty short book, but it's definitely worth a read. So, the answer is going to vary from project to project. You need an evaluation of what's happened. If you aren't getting results, it typically means it comes down to three things. So the strategy itself, has the strategy worked for others? That is a good question to ask. If it has, then it's unlikely that the strategy, if it hasn't worked for others, then it's probably that the strategy is flawed. But if it has worked for others, then it's unlikely that the strategy is flawed. And if it's not the strategy, it could be the execution of the strategy. Are your team doing the right thing, or are they using an incorrect approach? So again, in implementing a business strategy, there can be a number of moving parts, and it only takes one of those moving parts to not be moving in the right way to cause a chain reaction that, that means the end result is not a good one. So it also might be a training issue, so having someone to guide and coach you during implementation can make a massive difference in this regard. In fact, in some research completed by Olivero, Bain and Copeland, it clearly showed that training alone can produce up to about, say, a 22% improvement in results, whereas training combined with a structured ongoing coaching and implementation program can actually improve results by up to 88%. I mean, that's massive, and it stands to reason. You think about it, you do something, or you go to a one-day training, you'll get a spike in enthusiasm, a spike in activity, a spike in, in results probably. But in 2 or 3 weeks' time, if you don't have a way to implement some long-term ongoing change with accountability, then it's likely that things are going to return for the most part back to where they were. It's that sort of elastic band thing. So I always focus on creating some quick wins in the first 4 to 6 weeks for a new client, and I have 3 specific strategies that are designed to do exactly that. And that way, when we implement some longer term strategies, we're actually working on a solid foundation of success. So if you need some help in developing that, feel free to reach out to me. My email address, my direct email address, one that I actually reply to, is John, John, at john-blake.com.au. But look, I hope this has been useful, and it certainly has come out of 30 years of trying all sorts of things, and some of them failing absolutely abysmally, and some of them going great. And these are the patterns that I've observed, and my hope is that you can get some great results in being aware of these things as you go about implementing change in your business. Thank you, and talk to you on the next one.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker's Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.